Hi, my name is Allison, and today I will be discussing directed reading thinking activities, a teaching strategy meant to help increase students' reading comprehension. DRTA increases reading comprehension by encouraging students to actively engage in the passages they're reading by requiring them to stop while reading to notice clues within the text and make predictions. DRTA can be used with individual students, small groups, or in an entire class to increase their critical reading skills. Skills such as making predictions and finding context clues can help students not only in their English classes, but also in math classes when dealing with word problems, or even in science classes when they're reading journal articles. There are 3 steps to the DRTA process. The first is to direct. DRTA begins by considering what the reader already knows or can gather about the work based on the title or cover. The instructor should be the one directing the reading process, and they can guide the students in noticing clues, including pictures and context clues that might facilitate the predictions they'll make as they read. The second step, then, is to read. Students should read the first portion of the text. Portions of the text are decided on by the teachers. They can choose any stopping point that they want, so if you're working with older students, it might be a whole chapter or a couple of chapters. If you're working with younger students, it might be a paragraph or just the passage. But once the students have read the passage, which they can do independently or in a class setting as a group, they should do the third step, which is to stop and think. Students should be able to discuss what they think about previous predictions, what their new prediction is, and what clues they have used in the text to come to their new predictions. It can be really helpful to provide students with graphic organizers so that they can record old predictions, write down any clues that they find while they're reading, and then record their new predictions for the next section. Research suggests that good readers make predictions while they read and verify or refute those predictions. So DRTA is a strategy that explicitly teaches students these good reading habits to increase their critical reading skills and comprehension. DRTA can be used in almost any age group as long as the student's reading abilities are taken into consideration. So, for example, students in high school might engage in DRTA as an independent work, like homework, and they could use their recorded thoughts to discuss any assigned readings in class. But the example I'm going to provide today is going to demonstrate DRTA in an elementary school level with a very simple text and frequent stopping points so that students can stop and make their predictions. Okay, so to demonstrate our directed reading thinking activities, we're going to be using a book that we found online that's a free resource for second graders called The Giant Cookie. If you were presenting this lesson to a class, you would have multiple methods of presentation, so you would put the book up on the board, and the students would also get it in physical print form so they could read with you. But for today, we're just going to be using our electronic copy. So to start the lesson off, the teacher will guide the students in making their first predictions. So, Rachel, based on the cover of the book, titled The Giant Cookie, what do you think is going to happen in our story today?
Well, I think it's going to be about a cookie, because there's a picture of a cookie on the front of the cover, and in the title it says giant, so I'm going to assume that it's probably going to be about a giant cookie, not a regular size cookie.
Good. Those are great clues that you use to make those predictions. So now we're going to be moving into our first chapter. We're going to read it out loud together. When we finish reading this chapter, we're going to talk about how our predictions from the cover might have changed and what predictions we might have for the second chapter. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Chapter 1, Lunch. The students from Miss Smith's class were in the gym. They were eating lunch. I just love lunchtime, said Sarah. Me too, said Sammy. Hey, Willie, said Mike.
This is a cool cookie.
Thanks, said Willie. It came with my lunch. It looks like a little cookie man, said Ethan. So what do you think is going to happen in our next chapter, which is titled Bigger?
Well, at the end of chapter 1, they talked about how the cookie is a little cookie man. And chapter 2 says Bigger is the title. I think the cookie is probably going to grow bigger and bigger.
Does that fit with the predictions you made from the cover?
Yeah, because the title is called The Giant Cookie, and we were talking about it being a giant cookie.
Good. So if we were to continue this lesson, You would have the students read the next chapter, again, talk about the predictions they made, how they might have changed, and what clues they used to make those predictions. In my lesson plan, I have a worksheet given out so that students can organize those thoughts, and then they would break into pairs to discuss their predictions and their clues that they used, and then the class would come together as a whole to further discuss those clues and predictions.